Hello, my friends. Ellen Patrick here to guide you through Mindfulness Meditation Monday. This is an opportunity to reset your day and unwind your mind. And happy Halloween. Perhaps you are currently out trick-or-treating. So I thought we would do something a little different today, a little fun. And before we do, I'm going to ask you to perhaps if you have a carved pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern nearby, if you can grab that, and a candle if you also have that. And if you don't, that's okay. It's not a big deal. And we're going to be incorporating that into our practice this afternoon. Hi, Barbara. Nice to have you join me. So, yeah, we have about, another minute to get settled in. So while you're doing that, I have this beautiful chime that I will just play a little bit for you as you're getting settled in. This is a Koshi chime, and this particular one represents the earth. Hi, Ben. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, we just have about a half a minute before we start, and as I suggested earlier, if you've got a carved pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern, even if you have a plastic fake one, that's fine, and or a candle. And of course, if you don't have either one of those, if you're not in a place where you might have access to that, that's okay. Just get yourself settled and seated. Whether you're on a chair, or couch, or floor, make yourself comfortable. Good, so Halloween, happy Halloween. And so the origin, I found out recently, of Halloween is an old Celtic ritual tradition called Samhain, and it actually represents the new year. So it's the end of the harvest time and the beginning of the dark days of winter. But what's very interesting about this period of time as well is that Halloween is actually All Hallows Eve, and it is the night before All Saints' Day in the Christian religion. And what this means for the ancient ritual is that the veil between earth, our lives here on earth, and the afterlife is very, very thin, which means that it's a little easier to contact those who have passed or our ancestors. And I thought what would be interesting for our meditation today is to focus on our ancestors. Now, mindfulness meditation asks us to pay attention in a particular way on a particular thing. Typically, what we've used is our breath, and we use the breath because it is with us 24/7, and all of us breathe, at least those of us here on earth. And so we use the breath as our anchor. And we're still going to use that, but I'd like to shift our focus towards our ancestors. And I will guide you in that. So please start to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Otherwise, just look a little forward and down. A little sleepy eye look. And connect with your breath. And so that means to just notice initially your inhale and your exhale. Our breath is with us 24/7, but we don't often pay attention to it unless we're congested and we have trouble breathing, or we're surprised by something and we can't catch our breath. Right? So just notice the breath, the inhale, the exhale. And you may want to take that a step further and notice it in your body. Where is your breath tending to manifest? Right? It is in your chest or your belly. Maybe you're feeling it in some other part of your body. Perhaps you're not even connecting with that at all. That's okay. I'm just guiding you, right? Making suggestions as you find what works for you. And again, we're trying to create an anchor for our awareness. And so as we start to bring attention to our ancestors, our mind still may drift. There still may be random thoughts that pop in and out of our minds. And when that happens, again, we just come back to the breath. So perhaps in the room you're in, you have pictures of your ancestors, and that can start just with your parents, going to your parents' parents and their parents and further back. And maybe at first when you bring your awareness to your ancestors, you think about qualities that you share with them, as far as maybe a particular way of laughing, or your bodies look very similar. I remember my grandmother had a problem with her hip, and sure enough, so do I. And sometimes I get up off the couch the same way she used to get up off the couch. And it always makes me think of her. So again, think about your parents, your grandparents. If you were around when your great-grandparents were here on this plane of existence, perhaps you can bring them to mind, or even stories. And much further back, we may not even know of our ancestors, but we do know that they came here. They came here to the West from somewhere else. If you're listening from somewhere overseas, perhaps your ancestors as well migrated from a different part of the world. So take a moment to think about the courage it took to leave a homeland, to leave traditions behind, maybe neighbors, other family members. Think about the courage it took to come to another land and start all over, in the hopes that children and grandchildren will have a better life. If your mind gets distracted, maybe from a sound outside or a bodily sensation, just bring awareness back to your inhale and your exhale until you feel a little bit settled. And then you can once again call to mind your ancestors, sacrifices they may have made to create a better life for yourself. Perhaps their philosophy on life was passed down to you. And it may even bring to mind, what is your legacy? What is your legacy? Are you completing or attempting to complete an objective that your ancestors came to where you are now? And all the while, we're inhaling and exhaling, present, reflecting on the past, a past we may not even be aware of. When I reflect on my ancestors, I often ask, what is it I need to know? What is it about my family of origin that I need to understand? What is it I've been asked to complete? What is it I've been asked to resolve? Bring a sense of curiosity to this reflection. Breathing in, breathing out. Present in the moment, reflecting on those who have come before you. Honoring All Hallows Eve. And as this meditation comes to an end, at least this guided part, I invite you to stay in reflection, or perhaps you would like to journal. Always using the breath as your anchor, bringing your awareness back to the here and now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you a happy Halloween and many blessings.